Guys, welcome in. I am so excited for today. Today, we are doing something very fun. We're switching it up, and I'm going to do a few episodes, a rewatch episodes of my seasons of The Hills. And I did the rewatch podcast for Laguna Beach. It was called Back to the Beach with Steven a couple years ago. And I really had a lot of fun. It was a really enjoyable experience. That was the first time I had gone back and watched Laguna Beach since it aired. And the same is true for The Hills. I just watched my first episode, which was Heidi and Spencer's wedding. And I have not seen it since it aired. And I actually don't know if I saw this episode at all. Surely I must have, you guys. There's no way I was on a TV show and I didn't watch, because I always, with Laguna Beach and The Hills, I always wanted to see it because I always wanted to see how things were edited together and what ended up making it and what didn't. So I know I must have seen it, but you guys, I did not remember this to save my life, like at all. I felt like I was a viewer watching it for the first time and I had no idea what was going to happen. And granted, I was only in the end of it at the wedding. So I wasn't part of it leading up to that. So that was all new for me, but I know I must have watched it. I clearly had forgotten everything, even me being at the wedding. I remember my memories from the wedding, which we'll get into and we'll talk about, but I didn't remember the show version of it anyways, or like not all of it. So this is so fun for me. I think it was even more fun for me to watch The Hills than it was Laguna Beach. I don't even really know why. Maybe because of my mental state. Like, I think Laguna Beach for me was more, I was a kid in high school and I felt really manipulated and taken advantage of by producers, and I felt really poorly portrayed. Is that the right way to say it? I just felt like I really wasn't portrayed in an accurate light. And I think when I then decided to join The Hills years later, I had wrapped my head around this character that they wanted me to play, or wanted me to be, I should say. And I went into The Hills looking at it strictly as a job through that lens, and it made the experience way more enjoyable for me. I had so much fun filming The Hills. And so I am so excited to be doing these rewatch episodes. Really quickly, before we get into it, I don't know what I'm going to look like on camera because I just did PRF 2 days ago. If you don't know what PRF is, I've talked about it multiple times on the podcast, but specifically the episode titled The 10 Things I'm Currently Loving, I really get into it there. In a nutshell, they take your blood, they spin it, that gold plasma that's left over, they inject it under your eyes. I actually did around my mouth and in my lips as well. But my eyes always stay really puffy for a couple days. I did it 2 days ago. And I was going to wait because my eyes are puffy, but I'm so excited about this Hills episode. I just watched it. And so while it's fresh in my head, I want to just do this podcast episode. So I don't care. I'm either going to be like, great, you can't even notice it, or I'm going to be so pissed, but it is what it is. Cameras either really accentuate everything and make everything way more intense, aka like the puffiness under my eyes, or I'm kind of hoping maybe because the lights are going to blow it out, you won't even notice. So if you are watching this, please don't give me a hard time if my eyes look puffy, okay? Thanks. Okay, so let's get into it. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I have, you guys, so many notes too, like way more notes than I ever had for any Laguna episodes. Okay, so here it is. Season 5, episode 10, and it is titled Something Old, Something New. This is, of course, Lauren Conrad's last episode. This is Heidi and Spencer's wedding. This is a huge, huge moment in the Hills era, right? So they really set it up that Lauren is not going to go to Heidi's wedding. She's going around telling everybody, she doesn't agree with Heidi marrying Spencer, and so she can't go and support, basically. So that's like the big drama leading up to there's two actually big things leading up to the wedding. It's Lauren saying she's not going to go, and it is this drama with Heidi's sister Holly and then Spencer's sister Stephanie, and who's the maid of honor. And Holly is Heidi's maid of honor. That's Heidi's real sister. In my eyes, that makes sense, you know? And the show is basically setting the stage that Holly is a train wreck and should not essentially be maid of honor because she's showing up late to the bridal shower. She's a drunk hot mess. She's throwing food at the rehearsal dinner. Like, there's no reason why Holly should be the maid of honor. And, you know, poor Stephanie's over here like, wah, wah, I'm always here on time and I show up and I do everything the right way and I'm not your maid of honor. Okay, so let's just break it down. There is a scene close to the beginning of the episode. And, well, no, sorry, it is the beginning of the episode. It is Lauren and Lo setting up, having a house goodbye party, essentially. They're moving out of their house. And God, it's such a trip down memory lane to watch this stuff because Lauren and Lo at their house setting up this party, right, is such a classic Laguna Hills scene. It's Lauren is in her whatever room she's in the house. And now we're going to have Lo come in. You know, they'll do a little improv, a little shoot the shit. Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just packing up, you know. Oh, let's sit down and talk, which I don't think you'd ever actually like if you were really at your house with your roommate and your roommate came in and she's like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm packing. You would never then just stop everything and sit down to have a really serious conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you would probably keep packing. You'd probably, like, it's like a little messy. It's like whatever. But like, obviously for a show, you know, you have to sit down. We need good camera angles on you, you know, good coverage, yada, yada. Okay, so they have to sit down. And so these types of scenes are always to set something up. It's because in Laguna Beach in the Hills, we didn't have interviews, on-camera interviews. So in order to keep the story going and set things up, you had to get everything in scene. That's what they used to say to us. We have to get everything in scene. So that's why I do think a lot of those shows, or those shows in particular, are a little bit more contrived, or you have to be fed conversations a lot more because you're having to drive story in scene instead of Lauren and Lo just filming a scene and then an interview. They can be like, so what are you and Lo talking about here? Well, you know, we're moving out of our house soon, so we're going to have this party. Like, you can clarify things in interview a lot easier. So I think that's why a lot of times we were told what to say. And a lot of times with scenes like this scene could have very well happened after the party had already gone down, you know? So you film what really happened and then they're laying the episodes out and they realize, oh, okay, we need a scene with the girls setting up this party that we ended up having, because otherwise you can't just like all of a sudden have a party, because you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? You have to set it up so that the audience knows what's to come, the backstory, like how we got where we are. So that's just like a very classic Laguna Hills scene. And honestly, those scenes make my skin crawl because I hate those scenes so fucking much. I am more in the camp of, let me just do what I want to do. Let me just be a free bird and film and say whatever I want, which was my experience on Honestly Cavallari. And that was the best experience. But again, I understand why you can't do that. Okay, so Heidi is talking about her wedding, and she is saying she wants the most extravagant wedding. She wants real swans. She wants flowers everywhere. She says she wants it to be like a garden. And it's so funny to me because listening to Heidi talk about her wedding, I, of course, started naturally thinking about my wedding and actually how I would do a wedding today so differently than I would, you know, in 2013 when I actually got married. And that's funny because Heidi was all about flowers everywhere. I was the same way. I was like, I want flowers everywhere. And we had flowers along the sides of the aisle. And honestly, and like so many flowers. That was probably our biggest expense from the wedding. I didn't even notice them. I didn't even notice the largest expense from my wedding. Let that be a lesson that, I don't know, maybe you don't need rose petals along the aisle. I noticed them in pictures. And then actually when I saw pictures, I was like, oh, wow, they look great. But you're so in the moment. You're obviously, I would hope the bride who's walking down the aisle is not looking down at the ground. I hope you're looking at your groom, you know, and seeing all of your guests, you know, that are there as well. Anyways, oh, but by the way, total side note, my wedding now, if I were to get married now, I would want to do something so low key, like very few people there. I want to get married on a beach with no shoes. And I literally want it to be just like my closest friends, my kids, my mom, And like, I honestly think that's kind of it. And I want it to just be a big party. I want to have like an awesome DJ after. I want everyone just dancing, really good food, really good drinks, just somewhere warm and tropical. And I want to be sweaty and disgusting by the end of the night because we're just somewhere so warm and amazing and we're just dancing our asses off. Okay, so Heidi chooses Holly to be her maid of honor over Stephanie. And there is a scene where Heidi is telling Stephanie that she's choosing Holly. And I should have phoned a friend. I should have called Heidi to get some clarification on some of these things because to me, this felt like a pickup scene. And a pickup scene is kind of what we just said, where it's after they've started laying out the episodes, they realize they need a scene here to get from point A to point B. So you go when everything is done. The wedding is over. The girls have moved out of their house. You go and you film these scenes as though these things haven't happened yet. And even Laguna Beach, we had to do this. I remember prom. I think it was prom one year. Prom had already happened and we were at a coffee shop and we had to talk about prom like it hadn't happened yet and what our predictions, what we thought was going to happen. And then we would do a real recap like it did just happen and what, actually went down because they didn't know where they would be putting that scene, plugging it in the edit. So you'd have to do multiple scenes that way. So then they could take, the coffee shop scene and they're like, actually, we do like it better leading up to prom rather than the other one that they filmed. Like it's messy. Okay. So anyways, I would put money on that scene not being in real time. I feel like that was a pickup scene. And I really do feel like here's what happened. Because later in the episode at the rehearsal dinner, Holly is, a little messy, let's say. And she throws food and it ends up landing on Heidi's purse, this brand new purse. It stains the purse. It's this whole big drama, Spencer gave her a bit of a hard time. Was it Spencer that gave her a hard time? Heidi and Spencer, I think. And then Holly gets up from the table. She goes outside. Heidi's mom goes outside with her. Spencer comes out. It turns into this whole big drama. And Holly's like, I'm leaving. Holly definitely made the rehearsal dinner about her, without a doubt. But so what I think happened was the rehearsal dinner happened. So they're like, well, this could turn into a bigger story than just being the night of the rehearsal dinner. So what do? They go and backtrack and they start laying the groundwork and setting the stage for Holly to be this mess, this drunk mess that has no business being the maid of honor, right? So this scene they get as Heidi telling Stephanie, Holly's going to be my maid of honor. Stephanie's clearly very bummed, has some reservations about Holly being the maid of honor, because then later in the episode, there is the bridal shower and Holly shows up late. Now, did Holly really show up late? I should have called Heidi. I would say probably not. That would be my guess. Because we'll get into it, but at the wedding, they made it seem like I was the last person to show up. And I was not. I was honestly probably the first person. But they hold you until they want you to go in. So anytime you get to wherever you're filming. So let's say it's Heidi's bridal shower. You get to Heidi's bridal shower. And you obviously check in with production when you get there. You get mic'd up. They hold you until they're ready for you to go in. So anytime someone is late, anytime someone is, not there, like whatever it is, I don't believe that because, actually, I just thought of this. I wasn't going to do this episode for the Hills, this little rewatch thing that we're doing here, but we are going to. It's the Miami episode where I got accused of doing drugs. We're going to do that one too. That wasn't on my list, but we're going to do it. And I'll tell you why, because after the girls called me out on camera for doing drugs, they made it seem like I was like late getting to the car. And it was like, everyone was ready to go and in the car and waiting for me. And here I come, the big drug addict, can't fucking get any sleep around here. I come like 10 minutes after them when that wasn't true at all. They held me. Okay. Thank you very much. But we're going to do that episode. So we'll get to all of that. So anyways, that would be my guess is that Holly wasn't in fact late. They did that on purpose. They had the girls, Stephanie, Audrina saying, did Holly write down who all the presents are from? Well, no. How is she going to write thank you cards? My guess is Holly or someone was. Have you guys ever really been at a bridal shower and no one is writing down who the gifts are from and no one is checking? Because the other thing is too, well, if it's such a concern of yours, Stephanie and Audrina, why didn't you say something like, hey, Holly, are you writing down who the gifts are from? Like, hey, is anyone writing down who the gifts are from? No one is. Well, here, I'll do it. You know, that's why I have a hard time believing that all of this is real. Because think about it, you guys. We're filming a TV show. We have a TV show. Imagine if Holly showed up on time, wrote down who all of the gifts are from, was a great maid of honor. Well, there's a whole storyline that we don't have now. We need the drama. We need the stakes. You know, we need all of this drama leading up to Heidi's wedding. If everything was running smoothly, there's no TV show. Okay, so also at the shower, Heidi is talking about how she wants 4 kids and she wants all boys because she wants to be the queen of the throne, which I think is so funny. I think that is so Heidi. I love that. And then there is, because I guess they're doing questions. There's like questions for Heidi. So then another question is for Heidi, how did Spencer and I meet? And Audrina says, me. She is planting the seed for me to come later in this episode, right? That Brody and I introduced Heidi and Spencer years ago, which is true. Brody and I dated. He was my first boyfriend in LA. Right when I graduated high school, I moved up to LA and I met him pretty quickly. And we just instantly were together for about a year. And Heidi and I would hang out. Heidi and I were actually really good friends. We met in Laguna through Lauren, of course, but Heidi and I really clicked immediately. And so we were buddies. And Heidi wanted us to introduce her to a good guy. And we thought of Spencer. And so we did. We introduced them. That was all very real. But I can guarantee if I wasn't coming in this episode later, they never would have put that in there that I introduced them. Like, there's no point. Like, that doesn't like fuel their story. But since I am the surprise guest at the wedding, oh, well, they're going to start planting that little seed, which this is why I feel like maybe this is so fucking narcissistic of me, but maybe I only watched the wedding when I came in. Maybe I didn't watch leading up to it. I can't imagine though, you guys, that I did that. I just can't imagine that I wouldn't watch the whole show up to it, but I didn't remember it. I didn't remember Audrina saying my name. I don't know. I mean, but that's, I guess, why would I remember that? I don't know. So then we have a scene with Brody and Lauren at dinner, and they both think that Heidi and Spencer are making a mistake. Lauren, of course, has her reservations. She is not a fan of Spencer, but Brody even feels like they're rushing into things. And, you know, it was so interesting for me to watch this episode because while everyone is going, you know, I think at one point, like, Lauren made a joke about how she'll be at Heidi's next wedding because, like, obviously this one's not going to last. And, like, Brody thinks they're rushing into it. Like, everyone's, like, shitting on their wedding. And isn't it so funny, you guys, that all these years later, they're still together? I want to say this was in 2009. That would be my guess. This was 2009. And so here we are, you guys, in 2025. Well, shit, they're going to be coming up on their 20-year anniversary here pretty soon. God, that makes me feel old. Is the math on that right? What did I say, 2009? Yeah. Oh, God, that makes me feel really old. But the point is, joke's on everybody else because Heidi and Spencer are still together and they're fucking thriving and they're killing it and they're still in love. And Spencer's so supportive and so sweet of Heidi and her whole music career and everything else that they have going on. And I just absolutely love them. Oh, now we have to keep that in. We have to keep that in, me drinking water, because I just spilled all over myself. Oh, shit. Oh, my God, you guys. Oh, no. I'm a mess. Okay. Well, that has to stay in because I'm a mess and I got water all over me. It's all over my face. It's all over my shirt. Oh, jeez. It looks like sweat almost, too. Well, whatever. Here we are. This is real life. Okay. So, okay. Anyway, so Brody also tells Lauren at that dinner that he thinks she'll regret not going to the wedding if she, in fact, does not go to the wedding. Also, you want to know what my question was watching this? I want to know if Lauren really was not planning on going, and how then she decided to go. I want to know if it was show led, if it really was from her. Like, I have a lot of questions. You know what I mean? I have a lot of questions. And I want to know, like, in these scenes, because obviously at some point Lauren knew, like, okay, I'm going to go. It wasn't like she decided the morning of. She knew, the show knew, like, everyone knew what was going on at some point. So I want to know where in this episode Lauren decided she was in fact going. Because I will say, in some of the scenes, she's pretty convincing, you know, like, nope, I'm not going. No, I don't agree with it. And I believed it. Which, I mean, you know, listen, I think everyone got pretty good at acting by this point. But still, I would love to know when she really decided she was going to go. But okay, so... Oh, okay. This scene was so funny with Brody and Spencer. First of all, Brody sits down. They're at lunch, or they're not even eating, but they're at a restaurant. And Brody sits down with a beer in the middle of the day. And Spencer's like, oh, you know, like... gives him kind of a hard time about drinking. And because Spencer, this whole episode is on this kick now to become a better man. You know, he meets with Heidi's mom at one point, and he's promising her, like, he's not this crazy wild man anymore. Like, he's not going to be at the clubs. He's not going to be drinking like he was. You know, old Spencer was sleazy. You know, this new Spencer is not. And Spencer also tells Brody that he's been in therapy, and Brody is giving him a hard time about going to therapy. This scene was just so funny to me because I want to say the guys in this scene are probably 25. I think Spencer at one point says he's 25. And granted, 25, I had a kid and I, you know, was getting married and everything. But like that era, like you're like young, your early 20s, like this is what you do. Like you go have a beer at lunch and you do give your hard times about trying to better themselves because you're not there yet. And it just brought me back to that age. And I just laughed so hard because that's such a snapshot in that moment in your life, in your early 20s, of just your behavior, your mannerisms, your attitude. I thought it was so funny. I mean, I really thought it was funny. And it just, oh my God, it just completely teleported me back to that moment in time, to the early 20s. Just your lifestyle at that age is so different, you know, because you don't really have a lot of responsibility. I mean, I was working, as a lot of, you know, kids are at that age, but other than that, like you don't really know what responsibility is until you have kids. I'm sorry. And I don't want to, listen, everything's relative. If you don't have kids, I know you have a lot of responsibility too. I'm just saying, like, well, dogs are also a lot of responsibility. I will give dog parent credit because dogs are a ton of responsibility. I think until you're like a dog mom, a real mom, like whatever it is. Sorry, I don't want to say real mom. I know it's like everything has to be so politically correct these days. You guys get what I'm saying. I don't want to offend anybody. That's not my intention right now. Okay, I'm just saying. Like I'll just use myself as an example. Okay. I didn't know what the fuck responsibility was until I had kids. Now I'm like, Jesus Christ, why didn't I enjoy being 22 a little bit more? Because, you know, at that age, you think you have so much responsibility. You think life is really hard. And you look back, you're like, God, I was an idiot. I had it good, man. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, obviously. I've told you guys before on the podcast, my kids ground me, man. My kids keep me sane. My kids keep me rooted because I would be on a plane to Europe one week. I would be on a plane to fucking Japan the next. Like I would never be home. I would be blowing through money. I'd probably be broke because all I would be doing is traveling. Like there's no telling what I would be doing. Very thankful for my kids for grounding me and rooting me. Okay. Anywho, let's talk about Kelly Cutrone. Oh God, was she fucking amazing on the hills? God, and she holds up, man. She has stood the test of time, Kelly. I love her on this show. God. Okay, so she gives Lauren really great advice. Lauren comes to her because, you know, she's trying to figure out in her next move in fashion what she wants to do. And fuck, man, Kelly's advice, I was like, yes, it still holds true. And actually, we were just sort of talking about this. She says, what a luxury it is to not have any plans. What? Let that sink in. What a luxury it is to not have any plans. Basically, Lauren doesn't know what the future holds for her, right? She doesn't have plans. And Kelly's going, What a fucking luxury. Like, be so happy and so thankful and sit in that. And I get that now, again, at age 22, 23, 24, 25. You don't know what that means. You don't get it. But once you become an adult, you get how precious that is. I would kill to have time to not have to do anything, to have no plans, to just figure it out, you know? That would be really nice. And again, you don't get that luxury except for when you're 22, or obviously there are those rare circumstances later in life, you know, where let's say you sell a business and then you have time where you can do that. But again, it's really only when money isn't a concern. That's the only time as an adult that you can do that, especially when you have kids and, you know, you are providing for other people. Kelly also says, follow your intuition, be smart, be brave, tell the truth, and don't take any shit. Mwah. Kelly Catrone, she's my idol. No, but seriously, it's so simple, right? Really simple advice, yet so powerful and so true. And like I said, really stood the test of time. This was, what did we just say? 2009. But it really holds true still. And you guys, it's follow your intuition. That is so fucking powerful. Listen to your gut. Listen to your heart. Be brave. Be smart. Use your fucking head. Tell the truth. Honestly, tell the truth, because it's too fucking hard to keep lies straight in your head. I don't know how people lie, because I get like, if I even have like one white little lie, I get stressed out and I'm like, I can't, even if it's something like, hey, do you want to come to this event? And I'm like, no, I'm going to be out of town. Like, I can't even keep that straight. Like, I got to take a note in my phone then to be like, make sure you are not posting on social media. Like, it just seems too much to lie. So tell the truth and don't take any shit. I love that her advice was don't take any shit. Kelly was similar to me on TV in the early days in that she was strong. She was a strong female presence who did not take shit from anybody. She spoke her mind. You know, she was blunt. You know, she said what she wanted to say, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Where now, you know, cut to all these years later, that sort of female persona is being idolized a little bit more than it was back in the day. You know, we are now giving props to those women for speaking their mind and chasing their dreams and doing all of the things. But it really was, we didn't have a lot of women out there that were doing that at the time. And I remember Kelly was very polarizing for a lot of people. And God, I fucking love her though, man. I love her, and I loved her then. I love her now. And personally, I've met her. I love her in real life too. But don't take any shit. No one should take any shit from anybody ever. Like, that doesn't mean that you go and start shit. Never start shit, but you shouldn't take shit. If someone's going to fuck with you, well, then give it right back and fuck with them. I'm sorry, but that's a good philosophy. But I love her advice about don't take any shit. All right, I want to take a quick minute here and talk to you guys about Shopify. Starting your own business can be extremely intimidating, and it can actually be lonely thanks to all of the hats that you suddenly have to wear. Starting Uncommon James was just that for me. It was a lot, but I have to say, launching Uncommon James 8 years ago with Shopify really made my life so much easier. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to anyone like Uncommon James. Shopify really does it all. And to this day, it is still my favorite app on my phone just because it's so user-friendly. You can check any little thing that you want to look at. I love looking at all of the analytics. And they've got so much more than just that. I mean, you can get started with your own design studio. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand's style. You can accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. And you can get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Cavallari. Go to shopify.com/Cavallari. Shopify.com/Cavallari. All right, I want to talk about everyday dose. I test all of my levels every year for vitamins and hormones and gut, like all the things. And because of that, I have to take a lot of supplements, but it's annoying to take that many supplements. And quite honestly, it gets really expensive. So that's why I love Everyday Dose, because not only is it affordable, but it covers all of your bases in just a cup of coffee. It takes 30 seconds to make, and you get coffee plus a bunch of supplements with vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. Everyday Dose offers coffee that does more. Coffee Plus features 100% Arabica coffee, enhanced with functional ingredients for smooth energy, calm focus, gut health, and skin support. No crash, no jitters. The all-in-one coffee that makes you feel as good as it tastes. Coffee Plus is available in 2 varieties. They've got mild roast, which is smooth and light-bodied with 45 milligrams of caffeine. And then they have their medium roast, which is rich and full-bodied with 90 milligrams of caffeine. Both feature 100% Arabica coffee enhanced with functional ingredients for a smoother, more focused energy boost. And ingredients undergo third-party testing to ensure purity and potency, free from mold, rich in active compounds. And exciting news, you can now find Everyday Dose in Target stores across the country. Celebrate with a buy one, get one deal. Just buy any 2 Everyday Dose products at a Target store near you, and they'll pay you back for one. Visit everydaydose.com/let's be honest for more details. All right, I love talking to you guys about colostrum, specifically the Armra colostrum. In a world that's constantly changing, your health just should never be up for debate, guys. From the latest wellness trends to the chaos of modern culture, we're always questioning what's real and what's just noise. But one thing is definitely for certain. Your body wasn't designed for the nonstop stress, processed foods, and environmental toxins of today's world. Armra colostrum is nature's original superfood, packed with over 400 bioactive nutrients that fortify gut health, strengthen immunity, revitalize hair growth, and fuel performance at the cellular level. Because no matter where you stand on the latest hot topic, feeling your best is never up for discussion. You guys know I love colostrum. I've been taking it for years, and I swear by it. Not only is it good for hair, skin, nails, and recovery and just making you feel your best, but I swear it ignites your metabolism. I really do swear by that. Also really great for your immune system. And I've worked out a special offer for my audience. You can receive 30% off your first subscription order. Go to armra.com/honest or enter honest to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's armra.com/honest or enter honest to get 30% off your first subscription order. armra.com/honest. Okay, so then we get to the rehearsal dinner. We kind of already talked about the rehearsal dinner. The only other thing that I will say is, I don't know, it was an interesting dynamic when Holly runs out of the restaurant crying, because she threw food and it stained Heidi's purse. Heidi and Spencer are visibly upset, rightfully so. Heidi's mom goes out, Darlene, and she's consoling Holly. And she's saying that Holly throwing food actually wasn't rude. And I can understand, listen, Holly was throwing food at someone else, trying to be playful. It, of course, accidentally fell on Heidi's purse, stained her purse. But it's situations like these where literally I can guarantee when that happened, had Holly just gone, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Heidi, I'm so sorry. Obviously, that was not my intention. I was trying to throw food at whoever and it landed on your purse. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My guess is it probably wouldn't have turned into this big of a deal. But because Holly couldn't just take a little accountability and she had to make it about her and storm off and kind of try to turn it around on Heidi and Spencer, Well, then it turned into this whole thing. And now Darlene is out here. And now Spencer's trying to come out here and console everybody. And that goes fucking south real quick. And, a little accountability goes a very, very long way. Sometimes that's all anybody needs. Just a simple apology. And then you can move on. Because, Holly, we know you didn't do that on purpose. We know you didn't take that food and throw it at Heidi's purse as a big old fuck you. Like, no one thinks that. So it was an accident. So just say you're sorry. It's really can be that simple. And then Holly leaves. Holly leaves the dinner. And again, you're making it about you. This is your sister's rehearsal dinner. I don't know. Maybe this is the one time you could just kind of like not just pipe down. I don't know. I mean, again, I would love to know like what was real and what wasn't real, but this seemed pretty real, I would say. Again, I know there's editing and stuff, but I don't know. I bought this scene. So then the next day, Heidi and Holly go and get their nails done. And I will say Holly did apologize and she seemed very genuine. And Holly actually even says she totally understands if Heidi wants Stephanie to go ahead and be the maid of honor instead. It's kind of wild to me that it's like the wedding is the next day. And she's like, listen, if you want Stephanie to be the maid of honor, it's like, well, the hard part's over. Like, what do you mean? Just thanks. Also, this was interesting because, and by the way, I do feel like this was a pickup scene. Actually, wait, now that I'm saying it out loud, fuck, they got me with this. This was a pickup scene because they're laying the groundwork for me. And God, I wish I could remember where in the timeline I agreed to come on the show and come to Heidi's wedding. I don't remember. I wish I could figure that out though. Because my guess is, I want to say Heidi and Spencer's wedding was sort of a semi last minute thing of like, okay, we knew, because obviously, Adam DeVello, the producer, came to me, Lauren's leaving, we want you to come on the hills. And I'm like, and by the way, he had approached me multiple times for years leading up to this moment, wanting me to come on the hills, throwing outrageous amounts of dollars at me. And I always said to him, I'm not going to do that because it's Lauren's show and I'm not going to go in there just to fucking light a fire and then leave. Like, what is the point? I was honestly trying to be respectful of Lauren. And with her leaving, I thought, okay, well, this changes things. And I've told you guys, I mean, the money at the time I couldn't say no. And obviously reality TV was my background and I knew going into it, if I looked at it as a job, it could be really fun, which it was. And I also, by the way, that was a hard decision for me though, to go back to the hills because at the time I had taken acting really seriously and I had been working. I never did like anything, outrageous, but I consistently worked in acting and I was trying really hard to sort of like stay out of the tabloid world, like the pop culture world and sort of be taken seriously as an actress. And when I got this opportunity, it really was like, shit, man, I'm either going to go right or left. There's no in between. Joining the hills was taking a very sharp left turn. And I also knew that if I did that left turn, other opportunities would present themselves as well. But I knew me going back to reality TV was me going back to reality TV and I can essentially kiss an acting career goodbye. And this was me now, like, I have to capitalize on this and I have to go full steam ahead in this world now. And again, I'm so happy that I did. I mean, so happy. But I just want you guys to understand, it was actually a really difficult decision for me. Anyways, my point being, when I finally said, okay, let's do it, I'll join the hills for the next season. I want to say the wedding was like a last minute kind of like, we're wrapping up my contract because contracts take a while, by the way. It's not like you just decide and it's like, great, I'm signed up, ready to go. Like there's a lot of negotiation. There's like a lot of little things that go into it. Contracts take a minute. Not my Laguna Beach contract. So I was like, a contract? I'm like, just fucking put me on TV. I don't give a shit. But once you wise up a little bit and you have a little experience, you realize like, no, we have to get lawyers involved. It's like a real thing. So this contract definitely did not happen overnight. But, and because I was kind of adamant, like, I'm not going to come in and like ruin Lauren's whole thing. Like that was not my intention. So I think the wedding was kind of a last minute thing of like, well, we could just dip you in here. to then be like, boom, taking over the next season. With all that to say, I think the nail salon scene is a pickup scene because Heidi and Holly are planting the seed for me. So Heidi says to Holly, did you give that invitation to that person we talked about? And Holly says, yep, I'm not bringing anyone. Oh, and yeah, okay. And Holly says, yep. And that this person, me, isn't bringing anyone because I'm single. So this guest that we're not saying the name of, yep, she's coming, but she's not bringing anyone because she's single. Oh, by the way, why do we have to drop that little fucking nugget? This was like a big thing because, well, okay, we'll get to it. I'm jumping ahead of myself. So, and you know what's funny? I don't even think at this point I had met Holly yet. So obviously, like, this is bullshit. I didn't get an invitation from Holly. Like, this was all producer led. Which is just so classic. But, oh, right. And then Heidi goes, she's single. Trouble. Like, why is me being single such a big deal? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they want all the girls to be like, oh my God, Kristin's going to come in and steal all your boys. And then that's, kind of the storyline they were after. Well, it is a storyline that they got with Justin Bobby and everything, which we'll also get to that. So there's also a scene at Lauren's house goodbye party, and Lauren and Stephanie are in the kitchen, and Stephanie is saying how this is her final attempt to get Lauren to go to the wedding. And this whole scene, pretty much, not the whole scene, but the first part of it was all wild lines. Oh, they're so obvious to me now. And I hope if you guys listen to the Back to the Beach podcast, I would imagine you guys are good at spotting wild lines now too. But if you don't see someone's mouth moving, it's probably a wild line, especially when it's like kind of a little back and forth, but you don't see anyone's mouth actually moving. Safe to say it's wild lines. And I can tell you right now, they make it seem like Lauren's goodbye party or house goodbye party is the night before the wedding. Well, there's just no fucking way. There's just absolutely no way. This was not the night before. So I think, while I do think they were probably really then talking about the wedding, I think the first part of that conversation was wild lines because the timing was off and they had to like sync up the timing and make it seem like it was the night before, which was complete bullshit. Then we get to the wedding, guys. So I was there so fucking early. I want to say I was one of the first people there, and they probably had me come so early so that they could get me in without anyone else seeing me, which I totally understand. But isn't it funny that I'm the first one there, yet they make it seem like I'm the last? I'm fashionably late, which, like, whatever, who cares? It's all part of my character to come in fashionably late, And then obviously you want everyone's reactions like, oh my God, it's Kristin Cavallari. Oh my God. They also told everybody where to sit in the church. So I can use me, for example. When they were saying, okay, Kristin, you're going to go out there. Here's where everyone is sitting. So Justin Bobby is on the right and he's next to, I don't even remember the other guy's name. Sorry. We want you to sit in between them. Not just go and squeeze next to Justin Bobby. We want you to cross in front of Justin Bobby and sit right smack dab in the middle of him and his friend. Because why in the fuck would I ever do that? You guys, could you, like, what? Imagine I did that on my own accord. It's like so outrageous. But by the way, at the time, I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. What? And listen, I'm glad I did it. It's not like, that's like not one of those things where I'd be like, I would never do that. Like, yeah, I would never do that. But also we're filming a TV show and let's make it really good. And I also, at this point, I knew this character that they wanted me to be. So I'm like, yes, I'm all in because I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to make this work for me now after I was really unhappy with the whole experience on Laguna. Or I shouldn't say that. I had a lot of fun doing Laguna, but just how I was portrayed. That was a hard thing for me to wrap my head around. Let's just put it that way. But this, I'm like, okay, because like, could you imagine in real life if you're late going into any sort of social function and you have to sit down, no one would ever go up to just two guys that they don't know and sit in the middle of them. Like, no one would ever do that. Okay. Except for me, except for Kristin on the hills. So Anyways, and that's of course to then piss off Audrina and kind of get everyone going like, oh my God, she's sitting next to Justin Bobby, which I didn't realize at the time. They already knew what storyline they wanted. I didn't realize that until I watched this wedding episode, you guys. All right, I want to talk to you guys about Kachava. As modern women, or just modern people, I should say, we all wear a ton of hats. And because of that, because we are go, 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 we need nourishment that keeps up with our day, no matter where it takes us. Kachava's whole body meal shakes will keep your mind and your body nourished all day long. Kachava is so great because it has 25 grams of plant protein. It has 26 vitamins and minerals, 6 grams of fiber, 85 plus superfoods, nutrients, and plant-based ingredients, which makes it so good for you. And because of that protein, it will fill you up for a long time. They have a ton of flavors, so no matter what your favorite flavor combination is, you can choose from chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, and coconut acai. You can also customize it, make it how you want it. You can blend it up with frozen banana or frozen avocado, whatever your little heart desires. I also really like the chocolate with iced coffee, doing a frozen banana and some coconut milk. With every 2 scoops of Kachava, you get 85 plus superfoods, like I said, plus nutrients and plant-based ingredients. You can try Kachava risk-free with their Love It guarantee. And they have thousands of rave reviews, and they agree that you're all going to love it. So make your day iconic with Kachava. Go to kachava.com and use code HONEST for 15% off your next order. That's Kachava, spelled KACHAVA.com, code HONEST for 15% off. All right, let's chat Skims really quickly, guys. You know, I've said it 1,000 times. I did not want to like Skims, but I am obsessed. I am a huge fan, and for good reason. I'm obsessed with their Fits Everybody thong. I mean, I think me, as well as probably most women, we've tried all of the thongs on the market, and nothing compares to the Fits Everybody thong from Skims. It's soft, it's stretchy, and it's completely seamless. I can wear it all day without even thinking about it because it fits like a glove. And I love their Fits Everybody plunge bra. This bra has quickly become my favorite go-to everyday bra. The fabric is buttery soft and it's super stretchy, so it moves with me and it never feels stiff or tight. It also just gives you that smooth, barely there feel, yet it has really great support. So if you haven't checked out Skims yet, trust me, guys, you're going to want to. You can shop favorite bras and underwear at skims.com. And don't forget, after you place your order, be sure to let them know that I sent you. So select podcast in the survey and select my show, let's be honest, in the drop-down menu that follows. All right, I've partnered with O Positive yet again. So let's talk about it. O Positive is a women's health company. They offer a range of symptom targeting supplements that support women at every stage of life, from their first period to well beyond their last. They are proud to have the best-selling women health products at Target and on Amazon. The Urovaginal Probiotics is one of the top 5 supplements on Amazon, and they have multiple #1 products in Target for intimate care, PMS, and menopause categories. All right, so maybe you're asking yourself, what's so special about O Positive's products? Well, they create real, tangible results with ingredients that are backed by clinical studies and shaped by board-certified doctors. O Positive is committed to breaking down stigmas and addressing issues many women experience, everything from hormone health, vaginal health, menopause, and of course, so much more. The Urovaginal Probiotic is a blend specifically formulated to support vaginal health, which means everything from balancing healthy vaginal pH, supporting healthy vaginal smell, and maintaining healthy vaginal flora. When taken daily, which is 2 capsules a day, Uro delivers noticeable benefits within 8 weeks. Many, of course, see results sooner, and many customers talk about how the improvement in vaginal health led to greater confidence, as well as better sex and intimacy. So win-win all around. Take proactive care of your health and head to opositive.com/honest or enter honest at checkout for 25% off your first purchase. That's opositive.com/honest for 25% off. The next episode that we're going to do is the London hotel. It was like my real first day filming when, you're going to come at me like a bunch of fucking piranhas. That scene, which we'll get to. I knew after that oh, okay, I see what's happening here. They do want me to date Justin Bobby and Audrina to be mad. And because, by the way, in between the wedding episode and my real first episode of the London Hotel, there was a break because this Heidi's wedding is the season finale. Well, you know, it's interesting when you go on Netflix or whatever, it looks like it's one big season. Like I take over halfway through season 5 because it's all season 5 and then there's another season 6, but it really wasn't. Like they were 2 separate seasons. Like it was, I think, oh no, you know what they called it? Season 5A and season 5B, and B is when I took over. But it was like they were like, as far as production goes, they were 2 totally separate seasons. So we filmed the wedding and then we didn't film for a few months. And in between those few months, there was like Us Weekly articles saying that, you know, I was going to go for Justin Bobby and Heidi, and Audrina and I hated each other and all this. And Audrina and I talked and we were like, oh, this is the storyline that they want. Well, we're not going to give that to them. Literally, Audrina and I had those conversations. And then we get to the London Hotel and things went awry. And we're going to get to that. I can't wait for that episode. But what I didn't realize in the midst of all of this until now, when I went back and watched this, is that even at the wedding, they knew before I even fucking stepped foot on set, they knew the direction that they were going to go. Because why else would they have me sit next to Justin Bobby? God, it's amazing. Isn't that crazy though? Like what goes on behind the scenes of a reality show? I don't think they're all like this, but fuck man, Laguna and the Hills were, God, they had storyboards. It was like a whole, may as well have been a fucking scripted show. Well, it was really good improv, I will say. We were all fabulous at improv. Okay, anywho. So, so Lauren shows up to the wedding. Oh my God, thank God we had no idea she was going to show up. Obviously, she was going to show up, we knew. But I do think for Lauren ending her run on the hills, Heidi's wedding, like she had to show up. This was like the perfect little button for them. Just end it with a nice bow. There was no other option. Lauren had to show up. The girls had to have their moment before Heidi walks down the aisle. And it was a very sweet moment. And it was very sweet. Also, I want to say Heidi knew Lauren was coming because I think I remember this because it's Heidi's real wedding, obviously, right? You can't spring something like that on Heidi. I think Heidi would have been really pissed. I would put money on the fact that I think Heidi actually knew. And Heidi and Spencer knew I was coming, obviously. They were the only cast members that knew I was coming, though. No one else knew. That was a surprise. Okay, so here I come down the aisle. And, what I remember... Oh, so I must have seen it, actually. Because what I remember, watching this back, the only thing I remember is that I didn't wear a fucking bra. And I was so nervous, right? I'm nervous for numerous reasons. 1, I haven't seen these people in a long ass time. 2, they have me coming in late. So I know as soon as I open those doors, everyone's going to be staring at me. And I hate that, by the way. Like I know people think I like love attention and everything. And I do like attention to a degree, but not in an intimate setting like that where I walk in somewhere and everyone's just staring at me. Like that doesn't do it for me. That actually makes me really nervous. And so because I'm nervous, and obviously like me being here is going to make everyone go, what the fuck is going on? Obviously. And so I know all of that. So I'm nervous. So I'm walking really fast down the aisle and I don't have a bra on. And my boobs were really big. Okay. I always had really big boobs until I breastfed, right? And then I had to get fake boobs. But high school, early 20s, I had the biggest boobs. So my boobs are going boom, 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 boom. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I couldn't put a fucking bra on. Also, the curls in my hair. Are you kidding me? I got my hair and makeup done, by the way. Oh my God. My makeup looked good, but my hair was so bad, you guys. It was like those like pageant curls, but they like turned inward. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. But okay, so I walk in and I'm getting all of these looks from everybody, right? And everyone's going like, oh my God, it's Kristin Cavallari. Lo's asking why I'm there. Like, why is she here? And then Lauren finally comes in and Lo tells her that I'm there. And I will say, everyone seemed genuinely shocked. Well, obviously, like those are all real reactions. Lauren definitely seemed shocked. I mean, she had no idea. And you guys, what are the chances Lauren and I have the same color dress on? Like, are you kidding me? How does that happen? That's real because no one told me what to wear. I mean, and they do ask you, I think they did ask me what I was wearing. So I wonder if they had anything to do with Lauren. But I don't know. It kind of goes back to Laguna, the black and white party. No one told me to wear white. I was the only one that wore white. So what the fuck? That was a crazy ass coincidence, you know? And the fact that Lauren and I had the same color dress on, like, are you kidding me? You can't make this up. So they really did get these genuine, just ridiculous moments that were just so good for TV. But I personally think, because Lauren's reaction is she's shocked. And I think the look on her face, what I got from it is that, you know, Lauren's showing up to this wedding knowing this is the last time she's ever going to film. I think there's probably part of her that's like, good luck to you guys. Like, there's no show without me, sort of a thing. And that probably feels pretty good for her, right? Knowing that, like, you're the main draw of a show. And, like, by the way, her supporting cast was phenomenal and they are just as valuable. I'm not taking away from anybody. I actually think sometimes the supporting cast is more valuable without just in general. Okay. But she's probably feeling pretty good about herself, riding a little high. And me being there is kind of a knock, being like, no, actually the Hills is going to carry on and go on just fine without you. Don't take this out of context, you guys. The weeklies, please don't fucking write this because that's really annoying. I'm just saying that I can understand what was going through her head. Or maybe I'm just projecting because that's how I would have felt. That's how I would have felt. Actually, let's put it that way. That's how I would have felt. It would have taken a little steam out of me. You know what I'm saying? To be like, oh, wait. Oh, wait, the show's not over without me. That's how I would have felt. Okay. So I can kind of read that on her face is what I think. I could be wrong. Also, I noticed I did this like one little smirk where I like look straight ahead of me and I go like, they used it twice. So isn't it funny that at the time no one could point this stuff out though? Like, I don't know. Also, who the fuck am I looking at? What am I smiling about? I vaguely remember this. I think I locked eyes with Spencer and it was like I'm here. Like, yep, this is all happening. Like, yep, it's really going down, you know? I think that's what that was, but they used it twice and it was this sort of like, yep, this little smirk. It played very well with what they were going for. And, you know, just all of the looks that they had us doing, you know, like me at Brody, you know, Brody at me, Lauren at me, you know, Audrina at Justin Bobby. Like, it's just a lot of looks, a lot of drama, you know, and then watching Heidi and Spencer get married. I mean, this is their real wedding. It was really cool to go back and watch that. And it was so sweet. And, you know, then afterwards, everyone goes outside the church. And they had me come out alone. Also, they must have held me and then had me come out, which fine, whatever. And then, of course, all the girls are like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And I do say, the producers must have told me to say, you know, well, that I'm the one who introduced Heidi and Spencer. And then I say, I need you to hook me up with a guy. Why would I say that? Why was everything about guys? It's all starting to make sense. You know, isn't it? As a 38-year-old woman, I'm sitting here bitching. I'm like, why does the press always want to put me in a box? Why is it always about guys and dating and sex? Well, fuck, it started right here. And that could have been all for me. That could have been for me. But I don't know. That was my go-to. Yeah, maybe that was my go-to. Like, hook me up with a guy. What the fuck? And then there's something about Justin Bobby, and I'm all, yeah, I just met Justin today. He's such a stand-up guy. I say that so sarcastically, but they made it seem like I'm really like, no, I like Justin. Like, what? Like, no, none of that was real. I said it so sarcastically, and they make it seem like Audrina is kind of upset about that, but that I had zero interest in him, like literally zero. And we'll get into it in the next few episodes, but I never was interested in Justin Bobby, like ever, ever, ever. That was all for the show. I never saw him outside of filming. But again, table that. Well, I'll give you guys more details on that. But let's see what else. Oh, and then I catch the bouquet. That was real. I mean, I think Heidi was probably like kind of throwing it my way, but that was definitely real. And it is kind of funny because I do think I was the next one to get married because I met my ex-husband I think it was a month after we wrapped The Hills, which was probably about a year later. And then I did get married. I was the next one. So I think there's truth to that. And then they show Lauren leaving all by herself and the music. And, it's like, there goes Lauren in her car, all on her lonesome. That's the last time we ever saw LC. And then it's like Kristin's taking over. How fun. Oh, why is this so much more fun for me than Laguna? I love that we're going to do this. And my plan was to do like 3 or 4 episodes. I wasn't going to do my full 2 seasons, but I don't know, you guys, maybe it'd be kind of fun. What I might do is I might see how these episodes perform. And if they do exceptionally well, maybe I'll do all of them. Fuck it. So we'll see. But I hope that this has been fun for you guys. This is really fun for me. And so buckle up, baby, because this is going to be a wild ride. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.